Jumpy versus marcop, folks. Jumpy is named Subsneed here on Showdown, and marcop is named Gilbert Arenas, just so we're all on the same page. Let's get into the battle. Why don't we? A Salamence lead versus a Jinx lead. Salamence, of course, exits, as they're usually not max speed in the lead slot. We've achieved Tyranitar, and Jumpy is attempting to play around Lovely Kiss with Natural Cure here. Will it play out? You introduce a Mind Game into the picture. You can do repeated switches between these two Natural Cure users and eventually play for a miss. So that does sort of work. You have revealed a lot of your team, though, Jumpy. But we're going to attempt to get the better of this Jinx. Starmie is now in prime position. It's speedier. Wait, no, it's actually not speedier. Taunt Jinx. Wow. Yeah, this Starmie must be creeped down to like 300 speed or something. And Jinx, I think that Jumpy is a bit caught off guard by Taunt as an option, which is fair enough. He probably did notice he was slower, but Taunt is a bit random on Jinx. I've never seen that. It's destruction here with that Taunt. I don't know what that's for. I don't know what that's aiming to hit. It was very useful right there. I don't know what the intent behind the Taunt is necessarily. In the lead, maybe Spike, like a Smeagol Spikes or something. Spike leads. Very effective. This Jinx is destroying. This Jinx is destroying. If this Jinx did not have Taunt, this would be a different game, because this would be paralyzed Jinx. It would be very easily dealt with hours ago. But no, the Jinx persists, and it's a Doug switch in from marcop on the Jirachi's clear protect turn. Jirachi can possibly get out of range. We will see. We will see if Jirachi can survive this or not. It can. It can. But it misses Toxic. My goodness, that is tough. Kicking someone while they're down, are you? That's a tough Toxic miss. Going for the septuple protect out, I suppose. Why not? Didn't come to pass. Okay, at least you get a layer. No. Didn't make a layer. Went for the peck, actually. Layering now. At least you have a layer. If you have a layer and a Tyranitar, anything's possible, okay? We can't count Jumpy out. But a dreadful, dreadful start. Truly. And there's a Claydol. I think I know what this is. It's Suicune last. For Gilbert Arenas, we can expect a Suicune last. With this aggro Jinx lead to try and enable that. Okay, Jumpy at least gets a KO, but Jinx is threatening a KO herself with an Ice Beam. And nothing has tanked Sleep, I might add. The Taunt there is catching a soft-boiled. Now that I think about it, Taunt is pretty damn good against your main adversary, Blissey. Okay, a very fortunate, lovely kiss miss right there for Jumpy. There is the Doug follow-up. But amazingly not over for Jumpy. The Salamence, yet unrevealed. Would be amazing if it's DD. I doubt it is. But even Mixed Mince is a pretty fantastic threat to have here. Gets a free turn on the Doug, of course. I don't think the Suicune would have Ice Beam, so good call by Jumpy there, HP grassing. I think marcop was bluffing Ice Beam, but Jumpy said, you don't have it. Because this kind of team is usually Rest Talk Suicune as the win condition. There was a bluff for marcop that got called out by Jumpy there. No Ice Beam on Suicune. And just blasting against that Jirachi for pretty good damage, but now you got to get out of there. Okay, Sack is fine, I suppose. Starmie can maybe T-Wave this? I don't know. It's probably actually not even tenable. And Jumpy unfortunately forfeits. Valiant effort there with the... Valiant effort, I think. How low was the Starmie? 17%, yeah. I guess a T-Wave was never realistically happening. And I think this is probably a speedy Jirachi. Well, we have a game 2 on our hands, of course. A Medicham lead against a Tar. Rough for Jumpy yet again on the first turn of the game. And a Rock Slide mid-ground is pretty significant chip on a Gengar coming in for Jumpy. Oh dear. Destiny Bond clicked. Good click. But actually, Marcop is playing around that. Get Skarm in on a Celebi. This is a layer opportunity, which is good to get your foot in the door a little bit. You're taking it a lot, but one layer makes up for all that, to be honest. Skarm can chip heal later. Celebi itself is a tough threat to deal with. The Giga Drain on the Tar coming back in is the perfect move. But Tar can survive an HP bug. Will it do so? Yes, and that is a KO. Okay. Okay, I think the Jumpy has sort of gained some footing here. Certainly. A punch against this Skarm. Trying to bring it low. As you can. Oh, there's another Claydol. Marcop bringing Claydol yet again. Not necessarily the... Okay, went for Earthquake there. And Jumpy squeezes in some Skarmory chip heal. Gengar on the spin. Well played from Jumpy there. Maneuvering in Skarmory for one extra chip heal. That could win you the game. You never know. Goes for Destiny Bond. At least it's forcing it. Oh, wow. The stay and the double edge is insane. Marcop trying to catch a Rock Resist coming in. But no. Thuds into the Gengar and Jumpy with a very bold stay and Will-O-Wisp. I don't know how intentional that was. But it worked out majorly. And that might just be a game-winning double back-to-back Will-O-Wisps. Holy moly. Very well done. And the mind games continue as Jumpy refuses to go Gengar. Marcop is... Does it again. Does it again. 3 layers now. Never going Gengar, apparently. Now we go Starmie. Does Marcop finally spin? No. Determined to KO this Gengar who's never coming in. And now Starmie's forcing out the Claydol. I cannot believe it. Refusal to go Gengar. What was that? 4 turns in a row? 4 turns in a row? Of course, it is going to die to Psychic, so it's a bit of a 50-50. But getting that correct multiple turns there. Starmie goes down, but Medicham will follow shortly. Not Salak Medicham or anything, just leftovers Medicham going to faint. I think that Medicham should carry a berry. I don't know. Lefties has its uses too. In comes Flygon to just completely destroy this Aerodactyl. Yeah, going for flinches. That is dire. Even getting the flinch is... You are still losing this 1v1 here because of the burn damage. That's tough. That's a tough one. Alright. Enemy Skarm can make 3 layers, I guess. But how great even is that? Jumpy has multiple floating Pokemon. Layers are not even that important. Slowly but surely flinching down this Skarm. Chooses to roar it out. And it's Jirachi last, who presumably has some sort of thing to hit Skarm. Probably Fire Punch, I would think. Oh, it's Calm Mind Jirachi. I expected this to be a defensive Jirachi, but no. In a wonderful turn of events for Jumpy. Looks to be Calm Mind, which should be excellent in this end game. A Suicune loss could make miracles happen, but I think this +1 Jirachi is going to deal considerable damage, especially with a super effective HP Grass, which will then surely do 26% for the final blow here. What a game. Very well played by Jumpy there. Got to give some respect. Very well done. But both these players returning for game 3. Zap versus Stalemans lead, both exiting respective switch outs. And Gilbert, also known as Marcop, with a cursed up Snorlax, which is tough. Wonder if it's Curse Boom. We will find out shortly. I suspect so. No. Okay. Mag comes in on the layer. And Jumpy happy to take that gambit, I guess. Yet another Claydol bring from Marcop. I wonder if Jumpy is bringing a Gengar this time. No. Unfortunately loses that layer. Gets to do some chip to Claydol. But that's tough. The Magdol bring. And it's Ludicolo. Ludicolo is a pretty excellent thing to have here. But Registeel from Jumpy's side. Some unorthodox choices here from both players. Substitute Ludicolo. Very interesting. It's like a sub-seed set of some description. Leech Seed should heal quite a lot here. Never mind, it healed 12%. Jim with some misinformation. Is it Rain Dish or Swift Swim? It's Swift Swim. Gonna threaten a 2-hit on Zapdos here. Holy moly. Registeel stomaching that like a champion. I've been impressed with Registeel lately. I feel like it's quite a good Pokemon. There's a mixed wall. Impressive special defense for a steel type, of course. Oh, with Marcop gets the mag in. Evading status and should be a sub-seed. No. Actually just T-bolting. I thought it was going to be a sub-seed sort of scenario, but no. Well, Registeel's down. That bodes well for Marcop with the potential Ludicolo win con as your special wall on Jumpy's side. Registeel is no longer with us. And Toxic on the Tyrannosif incoming is pretty excellent. Okay, a Wish. A Fire Punch that Zapdos for some respectable damage. Jirachi is walling this Zapdos easily. Zapdos going for a para or something. Trying for some miracle. Suppose Zapdos fairly useless in the matchup anyway. It's walled by both Jirachi and Snorlax. Might as well go for something crazy. And we can assume that there's no T-Wave on the Zapdos. They probably would have clicked it by now. Any para gonna come? Nah. Zapdos will unfortunately perish with little to its name this time. Strangely good team bring from Marcop here. Okay, actually almost KOing that Ludicolo, but it survived and Wish happens before Sandstorm, so Ludicolo gets to live. Metagross going for the Rock Slide flinch. Didn't happen. Ludicolo remains alive. Okay, will Ludicolo show us Grass move? No, full moveset is revealed and there's no Grass move, so Ludicolo may have some trouble against Starmie. But Leech Seed and Rain Boosted Surf are helping. Rapid Spin to get rid of the Seed. But it's offensive Starmie, and a Surf crit will certainly not help. That's tough. But frankly, I think Jumpy's position was dreadful either way here, to be honest. Would have had to get a freeze or something crazy with that Starmie. It wasn't looking very good. Ludi lives an HP bug and gets the rain back. And that should be lights out. I think, unless Metagross is a Jill and has the craziest run of its career. But Leech Seed is going to make that difficult, of course. It is a Jill. And it's Rock Slide Metagross. Good to have here. Against that Salamence in the back. But no, just forfeits. No, it's not doable. It's not doable. That's a pretty excellent set right there. The crazy team bring that seemed to be pretty excellent. From Marcop, taking out Mag, getting rare double value, trapping 2 steel types. And eliminating them. And then the Ludi seem to be incredible here. Very well done. Very cool set there. Thanks for watching, folks. And I will catch you later.